Okay, last lesson for the day, um, foot anatomy. So we've done the entire figure and now we're at the feet. The most important starting point for the feet is you work through the gestures of the legs. So I like to use the S or the B to get through the legs to they seem to give a kind of a nice dynamic leg. I like to at the bottom of the leg put a little kind of horseshoe. And that's where one ankle and the other ankle they kind of clip around this platform that the foot is on. Okay? So it helps me have a pretty dynamic figure. I can there's an S, there's an S, horseshoe, horseshoe, platform for the foot gesture. Okay, so you can kind of start to imagine this guy running. The next thing that I want to get through is that the foot, like, it's almost like I'm drawing a little sandal here. You see how I'm kind of, you see how I've kind of got this like little sandal? Look at, I want to draw a little sandal here. It's like a little square sitting on the ground, and this guy goes over it. So here's like this little square sitting on the ground, and this guy goes over it. So here's another one. Here's a little square sitting on the ground, and I've got that guy going over it. Here's this. It's got this like semicircle, and there's this little square sitting on the ground. Okay. Okay. Now, when you look at the shoe, when you look at the foot from upside down, from like the bottom, if you take a chunk out of it right here, that's kind of the arch of the foot, right? So, and then knock this corner off of it and that corner off of it. This guy comes forward and up and over. Okay. And here we go. And it's kind of a bean shape. So you could think of, I want to knock this off and I want to knock that off. Here's the inside. I want to knock this off and that off. Here's over to the big toe. There's over to the heel, and that's kind of enough. I want to take my little chunk out of the inside. There's my chunk out of the inside. Gonna cut that, and I want to cut that. Okay, I want to cut that, and I'm gonna cut that. Okay, here's in foreshortening. Gonna cut that. I want to cut that. Here, there. I want to cut the backside. I want to cut this. Okay. Okay. Now, so here I've got this shape like this now. I've got this guy, and I had a square underneath it like that, which I cut this part out of, and I cut this part off of, and I cut that part off of. Right now I've got this guy like that. And the simplest way, like, if you come down, if you take this right here and you extend it upwards like this. Okay? And then connect from here down like that. Okay? And what happens is the way that people think about the shape of the foot is if you were to look at it in like flat on, one side of the foot is this like long, slow curve down, right? And it's almost like a roller coaster. And the other side is really this direct fall off, you know? And here's the toes going this way and that way. Okay, so this is like looking at a foot dead on, like if I'm on the ground looking at this foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, like here and there. Another thing that I want for you to know about the foot is that when you get to, here's the width of it, so I'm going to create a width on this foot, and it comes up like this. Okay, the back of the leg, when the back of the leg comes down, the foot goes out past it, like that, okay? So here's the calf muscle, and it comes down, and the foot goes past it, like that, okay? So here's the calf muscle coming down, and the ankle passes over, and the foot goes out past it, okay? Here's the knee shape right here, cutting in and over. There's my overlap. There's my overlap. The knee down. Okay. So here the foot is out. Calf shape. Down. Ankle. Up and over. It's like, there you go. Here's a square for the knee. And the round part for the upper calf, for the upper thigh, and into a square for the pelvis, okay? But we're not doing the pelvis right now. And all I'm looking to have you be able to do is a gestural foot. Okay, here's another thing about the foot. When a person stands like this, here's the feet. There's your line of the ankles. The outer ankle is lower than the inner ankle. So the inner ankle goes like this, and the outer ankle is lower. Okay. The back of the foot, is sometimes thought of as a block. And the front of the foot is thought of as a wedge. And it's a funny wedge where this edge of the wedge is like this, but this edge of the wedge goes down sooner. This edge of the wedge comes from lower. Here's the ankle, and it comes out like that. That's one way of thinking of it, and there's that example of it. And then there would be a little back portion sticking out there for the heel. Okay, this is just like a little bit of a structural breakdown there. But this is kind of the foot that I think is most important. Now, the toes, here's a thing that we want to know about the toes. The big toe has less, it's like the thumb, it has less knuckles. You see, these have 1, 2, 3 before they come down to the bottom. But the big toe only has 2. Okay? a lot of times the little toe sits up high. And in the middle of the foot here, it can be that you go from the middle of the foot to this line here and then down to the heel. Okay. And that's everything that I really have about the foot for you guys for right now.